Present during this seminar. And also I welcome our respected director Srinivasa Kulkarni sir for this program. And also I welcome all the participants, Karnik engineers and CMT trainee engineers for shown interest to join this program and to learn many things with respect to the different domains of construction management. And also I welcome Sanat Kumar. He is the coordinator of the online and always is helping us to do the online program. I welcome Sanat Kumar and his team. And also my team is with him actually, the Srikant and Janardhan. I welcome all of you for this online seminar. And I don't want to take much. And I'll request all the engineers to interact with Kumar Swamy sir. At the end of the session, there will be a feedback forms. And if anybody wish to interact, we'll after the 1 hour we may call for discussion. And finally left to the resource person and Sanat Kumar is the program coordinator. And I'll thank you once again and welcome once again all of you for this seminar.
Yes, sir. Screen is okay, sir, now?
Yeah. Sir, Director, sir, you want to speak something, sir? Director, sir?
No, sir. Kumar Swamy, sir, you please continue.
Okay.
Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the kind introduction and also to the director and Ramesh Kumar and Sanat Kumar. This is actually sanitation and environment. So both are very, very important actually. If the sanitation is not good, then the environment is also not good. So that is what actually we observed during this 2 years COVID session. Okay, this COVID holidays, we know that if the sanitation is not good, then the whole world is not going to work actually. So that's why sanitation is a very, very important chapter in the civilization. So civilization, the first is Harappa and Mohenjo-daro and also the Gangetic civilization. They are the very old civilization exist, and normally all these civilization exist on the bank of rivers. So Harappa Mohenjo-daro is in the bank of rivers Sindhu, and then Ganges civilization on the river bank of Ganges. So because water is very, very important. So without water is also in one of the sloka says, where there is no water, you should not construct a village. Where there is no doctor, you should not stay in that one, in that city. Where there is no guru, then that means education, you should not stay in that village or in that town. And like that, where there is no water, you should not really stay there. Unfortunately, Bangalore is actually built on the in the midst of the lake actually, because there is no river. A particular river for the Bangalore for the water supply, but still more than 1 crore people are actually living in Bangalore. So because of Sir M. Visvesvaraya, he is actually planned to bring the water from the KRS. So that was his greatness and a great engineer who designed the pipelines and intermediate storages and intermediate pumpings and all is designed by Sir M. Visvesvaraya. So to any civilization, it requires the water. So when the water is actually there, then there is we have to give importance to the sanitation. So every person minimum they require water about 135 liter per day per capita. Water is a must for citizens of Indian citizens. Whereas in America, it is more than 135 liter per day per capita. Sometimes they supply about 500 liter per day capita in America. So, but because America is 3 times bigger and there is a high water resource in America, not like 140 crore people are living in India, and most of the rivers, southern rivers are actually dry during the summer season and they flow during only the rainy season. So because of that, actually, we have to judicially use the water. So water is very, very important. So we have to judicially use, because the quantity of water available for the human consumption is about 0.3%. So lake and river water is only 0.3%. So I will explain in later slides. So this is, you can carefully observe, this is actually 2500 BCE. That is the civilization started in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. it states that both Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, two, the largest among two cities. There were the 3 miles in circumference and with around 40,000 people. You see, actually, two cities have got 40,000 plus 40,000. Okay, yeah. For that city, they have made all well-planned drainage systems. And the scientists say they have made an underground drainage systems to carry the sewage lines. So 40,000 that before Krista, that is 2,500 years ago, they have made all these systems. But unfortunately, after becoming a civilization or the modern world, so there are more than 60 engineering colleges in Bangalore alone actually, but still we are not planned a proper city where the rainwater flows easily and joins the lake or the rivers. So it is not, we have not really done it, because you can see the last week there is a heavy rains up to, they say actually up to 15 centimeter rainfall in 24 hours. It is too high to Bangalore to take, because the drainages are actually choke up with silt and mud, and also with the solid waste, especially the plastic. So which is really a problem to the civilization. Okay, this is how actually they built the centrally planned cities, city walls, public buildings, okay, granaries, toilets, wells, drainages. And the toilets and wells are also built in the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro cities. So this is how actually they were planned actually 2500 BC. But in the modern world, I already explained you, even though we have a highest engineering colleges in Karnataka, we are really not to the satisfaction. We have provided the underground drainage systems.
ಅದು ಕೆಲವು ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾನು.
Because of that,
ಅಡ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ.
yeah.
Sir, unmute yourself, sir.
Okay. Bangalore Water Supply and Drainage Board. They say there are 22 sewage treatment plants in Bangalore, and it is actually catered to the extent of 60%. So after treating, then what they are going to do? After treating also, they are not actually recycling it back. They are again discharging it back to the drainages. So you see, once you are spending a lot of money on treating it, on the second hand, actually you are discharging the same treated water to the drainages. Is actually this is the crime to the environment, because treated water we should go for the secondary reuse actually. That is the main motto. Even the Pollution Control Board, when it issues the NOC to the all apartments, the high-rise apartments, more than 24 flats, the conditions are 100% recycling of the water, treated water, for the secondary purpose, especially for the toilet flushing, where you need not required the water, just like a drinking water. It is not required. So secondary treated water, the standards are also given that the BOD should be less than 10 milligram per liter. If you are bringing that back, that BOD from 350 to 10 milligram per liter, then that is fit for recycling back to the secondary purpose. That is what actually Karnataka State Pollution Control Board says. But unfortunately, the water which is actually treated in 22 treatment plants, sewage treatment plant, it is unfortunate that they are disposing back to the drainages, and again they are polluting the treated water. Okay, this is you see the drainages, all these drainages in Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. They are all actually made up of the burnt brick. That is what they say. There is an open well. It is well protected. It is above the ground level. So if it is below the ground level or to the surface level, then definitely there is a chances of rainwater entering into the wells. But these are all the wells are well placed, that is above the ground level, and the drainages are below the ground level, which carries the wastewater. Maybe sometimes, yeah, one of this one, Hyderabad city, I visited that Kolangat Fort. There actually they have made a underground drainage systems. They closed pipelines are made. Even in Vijayanagara, this one Samraja, they have made actually the underground drainage systems. So underground drainage systems are very, very important because to protect the health from the public. This is actually done in very olden days in very systematic way. But unfortunately, we have not followed our ancestors' idea. We are not followed. Though we are so well educated and well placed, but unfortunately not followed. Yeah, in the meantime, because there were only a 30 crore population at the time of our independence. Now, because of the rising population, the Saram Vishweswaraya, most of the industries he planned actually. So the first he planned at Mysore Iron and Steel Factory in Bhadravati. So because lot of iron ore was available in Kemangundi, so he planned there actually. And he also Sharavati project he completed. And one of the main current line, he has directly drawn to the Bhadravati iron and steel factory. So these factories are required and they are actually sign mark of the progress of the country. So if the country want to progress, then they require all these type of industries, mining activity, offshore oil exploration, very, very important. You see that actually without oil, we are now facing the petrol and diesel rates are actually more than 100 rupees per liter. So offshore and onshore gas exploration is very, very important. River Valley project, Saram Vishweswaraya has done most of the River Valley project. He actually planned most of the river with the dams and with the drainage systems, that is the channel systems for the irrigation as well as the drinking water. So especially KRS also, the first dam he has built is Kadakavasala Dam in Pune. And he has adopted an automatic gate system in Kadakavasala the first time. And the second dam is the Gwalior. He put the automatic gates in third KRS dam. And KRS dam was actually financed by the Maharani. So Maharani has actually sold her all jewels and provided the financial assistance to construction of the KRS dam. And now because of the KRS dam, you see actually the Mandya districts and also Srirangapatna districts and all along the Kaveri river, there is a green belt. So that's why River Valley projects are also very, very important for the greenery. And thermal power project is also essential because so I was in Germany for 6 months. There was an uninterrupted power supply for 24 hours. Uninterrupted and the same voltage. Voltage also they have maintained. So here in India, you see actually many times there is a fluctuation in the voltages, and that's why most of the software companies, they have got their own captive power generation. So this is where actually we are facing problem because 60% of the air pollution is by the thermal powers all over the world because they consume a lot of the coal for the production of the energy. So then coal is very essential for production of the thermal power. So coal is also very important. And thermal, then is the nuclear power. Nuclear power is actually eco-friendly and that is actually kilowatt hour. That is kilowatt hour. It is actually only 2. Number is 2 per kilowatt hour. It releases only 2 grams of the pollutants, whereas the coal releases 814 grams. So 814 grams is the coal and 2 grams is the nuclear power. So nuclear power, no doubt, it is danger when there is a sabotage or when there is a catastrophe. Otherwise, thermal powers are the most friendly and you'll generate the maximum energy with the minimum fuel. So that is what is. Then metallurgy is also important because the metals are the normally about 52 types of metals are consumed by the human beings in day-to-day life, including large quantity of iron and steel, and very precious metal is the gold, yellow color. This is 1 gram is about more than 4,000 rupees. So then the cement plants is required because the construction of any dams nowadays, earlier Saram Vishweswaraya used the mortar. So nowadays the mortar is actually out of date because the mortar is not so powerful when compared to the concrete. So for the concrete, the cement plants, the cement mills are very, very essential And most of the cement mills in Karnataka is situated to the north of Karnataka because there is a lot of limestone minings. So because of that, major industries of cement industries are actually situated in the north of the Karnataka only. Then the petroleum plants is also important because when you obtain the crude petroleum raw material, crude oil, then crude oil has to be processed, which requires the petroleum plants. That is MRPL in Mangalore or Madras refinery or Mathura refineries. All these refineries are very, very essential for the progress of the country. Then coke oven plants, the coal is actually processed to remove the ash contents. The coke plant is also important. Asbestos is actually dangerous, but asbestos actually still used in Karnataka or in India because asbestos sheets are actually banned in the other than India. In all developed countries, they are not using the asbestos sheets because asbestos is a carcinogen. Then chloralkali plants, soda ash plants. So caustic soda is very, very important because the industrial growth is depends upon the sulfuric acid and also the caustic soda, sodium hydroxides. So these two actually gives the actually an idea that what is the industrialization in that country. So soda ash plants, then the leather industries. Yes, we are lot of sheep goods are actually consumed in India, but you cannot waste the leather. So all these leathers are actually require the tanning. So there is a tanning industries which are actually categorized as highly polluting industries because a lot of chromic acid is used for the leather tannings. So when I was joined the board in 1984, there are about 50 to 60 tanning industries in Tannery Road. Now the Tannery Road is there, but there is no tanneries. All tanneries are actually closed uh, by the Pollution Control Board, and some of them are closed themselves because of the economic crisis. And now actually only in Palavaram and Vaniambadi in Tamil Nadu or in Karapur, in those area, these leather industries are functioning. And chemical fertilizers are very important because of the increasing population, we cannot actually depend upon the compost. So chemical fertilizers are actually there, the Mangalore chemical fertilizers like that. Fertilizers are also important. All these industries are required for the development and also for the luxury life of the human beings. So that's why the government is also giving importance. Yesterday, you might have read actually, the Karnataka is the first state in actually inventing the foreign investment, more than 3,500 crore dollars. So that is what I read in the paper. So the foreign investment is also important because of we need the economy. So if there is no economy, and that means India won't survive. You might have seen in what is actually happening in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a problem because it is mainly not industrial country. It is actually a tourism country, and tourism was actually badly hit by the corona. So because of that, now they are facing the financial crisis in Sri Lanka. This is one of the news I have actually observed in the news, that another 60 countries are going to be in the same line because of the COVID or because of the other things. There is an economic crisis, including America, not only India, including America. There is an economic crisis. So paper and pulp is also important because for education, paper is very, very important. And pulp is also important. In this pulp, either you can make paper or you can make the rayons, so which is also important. Then isolated storages, that is petrol bunks and all called isolated storages. Airports. So Karnataka, the first is actually Delhi airport, is the second busiest in the world. The Heathrow of UK is the first busiest. The second busiest is actually Delhi airport, and third is actually our Kempegowda International Airport, that is Bangalore. So it requires actually a lot of fuel. The the aeroplane requires a lot of fuel. So for that one, we need the oil and gas. So airports are also, one airport minimum land require is actually about 1,500 acres. So the international airport required 2,000 acres, and the national level, it may be about 1,000 acres, like that. Shimaga or Belgaum, like that, they required at least 1,000 acres. So 1,000 acres, after acquiring, they are going to deforest all the things, and they have completely destroyed the vegetation, everything they destroyed, and they compact the soil and make the runways. So during that one, there is a lot of impact on the soil conditions and also the vegetations. Then the ship breaking is also, old ships has to be, they have to dismantle. It is called breaking. So it is also a very highly polluting activity. Fortunately, Karnataka don't have any ship breaking units. Then common effluent treatment plant, and also the hazardous waste. When the industry is there, then definitely there is a hazardous waste is actually generated, and this hazardous waste has to be scientifically disposed. So Karnataka government have made two number of storage and treatment of hazardous waste. One is at Dabaspete, another is at Kanpura Road. Then port and harbors are also very important, because the economic values is also depends on the port and harbors, because lot of goods are actually transported through the ship, and which is the cheapest actually. It is the cheapest, and it takes very, very less energy per ton of transportation when compared to the rail and the roadways. So then the highways are also important, because once you imported anything, then at least has to be transported through the highways or the railways. Both are actually very important. Then municipal waste disposal site. This is what we have to now concentrate, because the sanitation is depending upon the how the municipality works. So if the municipality is not really properly working, then definitely the sanitation is in problem. Because in Bangalore, to my satisfaction, the BWSSB, what they're working is around 50%. So another 50% they have to upgrade their systems, because what my experience when I visited the solid waste disposal system, they are simply without segregation, including plastic. They have actually dumped. I am not use the word disposal. Disposal is the scientific word. They are actually dumping into the old quarries, and they're closing it with fresh soil. And I have seen some of the old dumps. There is a lot of methane gas is generated, and the leachate is actually flowing out. And BOD, biochemical oxygen demand of that leachate is more than 9,000 milligram per liter. Whereas the drinking water BOD, biochemical oxygen demand, is 0 milligram per liter. Whereas this leachate, with the liquid which is flows through the solid, there are more than 10 sites actually selected by the BBMP, Bangalore Mahanagara Palike, and to my knowledge, they are not really disposing the municipal solid waste in a very scientific manner. So it is my experience. Then apartment and townships. So you see, I already explained apartment and townships. The townships, what I explained in olden days, that is in Harappa, Mohenjo-daro or Gangetic townships, they are actually well planned with brick lining of the drainages and all, and they have made all the sanitization, sanitary systems they have made. They have made the disposal of the human waste also in a very scientific manner. So those cities I already explained. It is actually about 40,000 each cities, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, two cities of having the population of 40,000 citizens. So here actually in Bangalore is more than 1 crore. So it requires more scientific way of collection of the sewages, because here is the problem is the Bangalore Development Authority. They develop the areas, but unfortunately they will not provide a site for the disposal or the treatment of the solid waste, liquid waste, and electronic waste. All these things they had to leave a place in any new areas, in any new residential areas. Unfortunately, they are not doing. The layouts are actually planned by the BDA, and the underground water system, underground drainage system and water systems are actually planned by the Bangalore Water Supply and Drainage Board. And to my knowledge, is actually only 60% of the sewage is treated. The 40% is not treated. So evidence is that what the Pollution Control Board, you can observe the website of the Pollution Control Board. They are actually monitoring all the lakes of the Bangalore. All the 25 lakes, the BOD is more than 6 milligram per liter, sometimes 10 milligram per liter. And all the 25 lakes are in green color, which is indication that there is a lot of algal growth because of joining of the organic matter, either in the form of sewage or in the form of solid waste. So Pollution Control Board in apartments more than 24 houses, they have to take the NOC from the Pollution Control Board, and they have to construct the sewage treatment plants. So a group of house is a problem because a lot of water, that is 135 liter per day per capita, the water is required, and water supply is actually calculated per house 5% into 135 liters, like that it's calculated, and then the sewage treatment plant is designed. So, and designed this one of the condition of the Pollution Control Board, the solid waste has to be composted 100%, and sewage treatment plant should be provided 100% before the occupation of the any single apartment. So unfortunately, what my experience, even though 50% occupation of the apartment, they have not constructed the sewage treatment plant. That sewage is actually they let flow in the drainages, and after 100% occupancy also, most of the prestigious apartments, what they are advertising, they are actually they are not 100% treating the effluent, because I have seen during the night time they are pumping the wastewater into the drainage during the night time, and because of that the apartments which are very near to the lakes, especially Belandur Lake, there are 22 drainages are actually joining to the Belandur Lake. And drainages means what actually? It is the wastewater only. So 22 drainages actually carries the sewage and the solid waste along with the plastics that is joining the about 300 acres of lake, that is Belandur Lake. And you might have seen there is a foaming effect. This foaming effect is because of a lot of illegal washing units are actually in operation. Even nowadays, actually, all houses has got the washing units, and all they use the detergent powders. All the detergent powders are actually synthetic, which contains linear alkali benzene, LAB, and these LABs are actually slowly biodegradable. So because of that, there is a lot of foaming in Belandur Lake. Especially, it is always in the news. Even the Vartur Lake is also sometimes in the news. And there is sometimes you might have seen in the paper, there is always there is a fish kill in some or the other lakes. These are all because of the joining of the sewage into the lakes. So when you don't maintain the sanitation, that means if you don't maintain the sewage treatment plant, and if you are not 100% recycling the treated water, then one is actually the loss of fresh water, because Bangalore actually every day the current bill itself is actually 1.5 crore rupees per day. So that much is not required because 80% can be recycled. So you can use it for 80% for the secondary purpose. That means you can reduce the 1.5 crore rupees to just a 0.5 crore rupees. This is just by recycling, because the recycling water is the cheapest, because you need not pump for 160 kilometers from Mysore to Bangalore. In every packets, you can have a treatment facilities and treat it and use it for the secondary purpose. So this is what is actually the apartments. So these are all apartments. They are taking the Pollution Control Board permission, but unfortunately the STPs are not maintained properly. So as the Ramesh Kumar said in the early beginning of the this session, he said that actually the persons who are maintaining the treatment plants, they don't know what is the ABCD of the treatment plant. only the persons who knows it, he construct, and the persons who is actually the owners, they make an association in the apartments, and the owner want to spend only a very, very less money. That means they're not ready to give 10,000 rupees per day, 10,000 rupees salary for the a skilled labor or the skilled persons. They are actually giving only 2,000 rupees per month. 2,000 rupees per month. Yeah, you can expect only unskilled person can work, and unfortunately, the building association, the building owners association themselves, they say they pump the effluent to the drainage during the night time when there is no inspection from the any authorities. So this is the unfortunate thing is actually happening in not only in Bangalore, the same condition in Delhi also. Delhi also, there are 200 drainages which is actually open to the Yamuna River. The whole Yamuna River is actually in very pathetic conditions. A lot of foam. In the foam itself, they are making all rituals also conducted in the same that foamy water. So it is still unfortunate. So this is how actually we are giving a very least importance to the sanitation. So whereas even in Bhagavad Gita, in the 13th chapter, it says Samanitvam, Madammitvam, Haimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, Acharya Patanam, Shaucham. Shaucham is nothing but the pollution control. That Shaucham is also said in Bhagavad Gita, but we should actually should be the model. So you are saying that we are the world gurus to teach the yoga. Like that, we should become the human beings. And some of the rivers are actually polluted because of the illegal discharge of the industries, which are situated on the bank of rivers. So, is it okay? You are hearing?
We are hearing, sir.
Okay, there is. I thought there is maybe some. Okay, this pollution control board is one of the notifications says all the residential and group of housing project apartments at 20 units. Okay, 20 and above units. Yeah, they should are the built up area more than 2,000 square meters, not square feet. It is square 2,000 square meter. They should provide STP, not in the basement actually. It is says actually. Including basement, it is the 2,000 square meter. Then most of the apartments, what we observed, they are providing in the basement. When they provide the basement, there is a lack of air circulation. When there is a lack of air circulation, there is every chance that there is a devoid of oxygen. The persons who are working, he may die because lack of oxygen. That's why the pollution control board's one of the condition is STP should be above the ground level and not in the basement. Basement is basement is a problem because there is no proper ventilation. When there is no proper ventilation, it is in a hygienic condition. In one of the apartments I inspected, actually they have most of the apartment, but one of them I have inspected in Yelahanka. They have provided in the basement. Then actually NGT, National Green Tribunal says you fine them. Then I have calculated the fine for 3 years for not operating or not properly operating the sewage treatment plant. The fine goes to up to 5 crores. So 5 crores. The treatment plant, the cost itself is not 5 crores. So the fine is actually 5 crores. After that, they have made actually artificial ventilation. Suction and all they have provided now actually. Though the pollution control board's condition that he had to provide the sewage treatment plant above the ground level and not in the basement, they were completely violated by the developers. That is the problem actually. Developers will not actually follow the rules. They are very eager to get the NOCs and the consent from the board, but they are really failed to follow the conditions. Then commercial construction also. The commercial complexes, offices, IT related activities, the total built up area more than 2,000 square meter and shall install STP. Yeah, all ITs, even in ITPL, this one, Whitefield. So I have observed actually ITPL this Whitefield, they were actually 80% their effluent they are recycling back. They are using it for the coolers because the whole building is air conditioned. So for that they require a lot of water for cooling. So 80% is actually they are recycling. This is if the time permits, the better you visit that one. The consultant is actually Mr. Kadavasal actually. So if you want to visit, I will ask them to permit you. So you really, it is a worth seeing. You can go and see. Then education institute, all educational institute, including with the hostel or without hostel, also they should have. If the construction built up area is more than 5,000 square meters, so they have to install the STP. I don't know how many medical college, how many engineering college, and how many actually MBA colleges having the built up area more than 5,000 square meters have got the STPs. Really, you can count only a few of them are actually having the STPs. Most of them don't have. They don't even know there is a condition like this. The built-up area, if it exceeds more than 5,000 square meter, they have to install the STPs. This also, they don't know the primary requirement. Then townships, more than 10 acres. So any township is actually done by the BDA. It is actually developed more than 10 acres, or sometimes hectares actually. Even the new layout of Vishweshwaraya layout or Karanth layout, I don't see any place provided for the sewage treatment plant. If the sewage treatment plants are to the individual area, then it is very easy to control the pollution. So otherwise, collecting it all the effluent in a single point and treating is really a clumsy and really a tedious work. It is really a tedious work. So small pockets, just like individual areas, Nagarbavi second stage or the Nagarbavi first stage or the Rajajinagar, like that, if they are planned earlier, having a individual STPs to that area, and then all the three valleys, what you are observing, this Rishpavati Valley, Kainsi Valley, Belandur Valley, all are actually flowing 24 hours. And this wastewater is actually sewage. Unfortunately, sewage, and sometimes during the night time, the industrial effluent is actually discharged illegally. And because of that, you see, Belandur Lake is in foamy condition, and there is a high dissolved salt in the Bhairmangala Lake in Biddi, and Bhairmangala Lake is also foamy. You might have seen the waterfall in Bhairmangala Lake, and it ultimately joins to the Kaveri River, and the overflow of the Belandur Lake is going to the Krishnagiri area, and ultimately these water, the same polluted water, the farmers are using for growing the vegetables and all, and the same vegetable is coming back to the Bangalore market. It is the unfortunate thing that Bangalore market is flooded by the vegetables which are grown in the unpolluted, that is the polluted water. This is unfortunate. So by the God grace, we are actually, I think we are enjoying the health. Otherwise it is a real problem. When I visited, I actually trained in Germany for 6 months. So in one of the city, it is called Wuppertal. Wuppertal city is on the bank of river Uber. This Uber river, for the rainwater, the collection of rainwater for 2 hours, they have made the settling tanks. 100 years back they have made. That means already 150 years back they have made the settling tank for the rainwater. So here actually we have not made the rain even for the sewage. The unfortunate thing is I have seen that in Shumaga there are two actually outfall of the sewages. One is very near to the new bridge, and another is near to the in between the old bridge and new bridge. Directly the sewage without any treatment and without any settling, directly joining to the Tunga River. So Tunga River during the summer season, it is actually carrying only the sewage. Only in the rainy season, it carries because of the dilution. Otherwise, we say that Ganga is a devate and Yamuna is a devate, Tunga is a devate. They are all goddesses of the liquid. are the water that really we are actually polluting them with our human sewage. It is really a crime against the goddess, that is the water gods. Okay, the water is very essential, and it has either you have to conserve it or you have to recycle. There is no other way, because you see the growth of the population in India is actually 70,000 new children took birth in India every day. 70,000. So 70,000 people require the water supply every day. Every day you require the more water, because 70,000 new children you have to supply water, the food, and the shelter and all, which is actually coming out of this. The existing only one planet. Only one planet. ಕುಡಿಯುವುದು ಒಂದೇ ನೀರು, ಇರುವುದು ಒಂದೇ ಭೂಮಿ. There is only one earth. Yes, whole universe. There is a countless stars and there is a countless, it is called planets. But unfortunately, the science is unable to find out a life in any other planet other than Earth, what we are living actually. So because of there is only one Earth, so we have to protect. Otherwise, also the human civilization is going to be destroyed by the overcrowded population and not having the proper sanitation. Okay, the World Water Day says actually valuing the water. We are not valuing the water actually. So in the Kalyan Mandpas, I have seen actually, they supply the water a bottle of half liter. From half liter, they drink actually 100 or 200 ml. That means 300 ml of treated water actually thrown out, which is again a crime actually. Instead of giving actually water bottle, because water bottle in I think July 1st, it is going to be banned, because single-use plastics is actually creating problems to the society and to the environment. Because single bottle for biodegradation, it takes not less than 300 years. So ultimately, it is not going to be biodegraded. It is going to become a smaller microplastics. And these microplastics are entering into the water stream. And ultimately, in water, the fish is actually consuming the microplastics. And ultimately, the fish are consumed by the human beings. Whatever stored plastic in the fish is ultimately biomagnified in the human body. So human body is actually is going to be a problem because the microplastics are actually the size is actually less than the blood cells. So once it is entering into our blood, there is no way to take it out the plastic from the bloodstream. This is the problem actually. So groundwater making invisible visible. This is one of the theme in the water world. Why the groundwater now is actually visible? Why visible? Because we have polluted the underground water. A lot of groundwater is actually taken out by the human consumption or for the industrial purpose. And actually apartment, what they're supplying the water. So some of the apartment, they don't have a water supply by the BWSSB. They are purchasing water from the tankers. And most of the tanker, they are getting the water from the borewell, which is beside the lakes. And I already explained you, most all 25 lakes in Bangalore are actually polluted. And they are getting water from the nearby borewells. Definitely it is going to be a polluted water only. I don't know really the fate of the apartment residents. I don't know what adverse effect on their health, because I don't know whether they're testing the water or not, because as per IS 10,500, there are 32 parameters they have to check before drinking. I don't know, not even a single time I have heard that they are actually tested the drinking water, whether it is fit for drinking or not. No doubt that individual houses have got their own aqua guard or the Kent. Yes, okay, Kent or aqua guard. They remove the complete salt content from the water, which is also not good for the health actually. Otherwise, in the later stages, the doctor suggests you to go for the calcium tablets to get the bone strengthened. So So 500 milligram per liter of dissolved salt is permissible as per IS 10,500. Whereas the river Kaveri water itself is actually shortage of about 200 milligram per liter of salt. So it is actually 300 milligram per liter is the dissolved salts in the Kaveri river. The permissible limit as per the IS 10,500 is 500 milligram per liter. So there is a 200 milligram per liter is the salt is actually a shortage in that water. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is what is actually there in our Vedas. That is, we worship Gange, we worship Yamune, we worship Godavari, we worship Saraswati, Narmade, Sindhu, Kaveri. They call it as a sacred rivers. But present status, Gange is polluted. Gange is polluted at the beginning of the Ganga itself, because the Chardham Yatra in these 6 months, more than 1 crore people are going to visit. And I don't know what is the sanitation method they have made actually. Gangotri, Yamunotri, and it is a birthplace of the Ganga and Yamuna. And this another one is actually Badrinath and Kedarnath. They are actually the birthplace of the Saraswati and also the Alkananda and Mandakini. And these are the birth places. And ultimately, all these rivers, Ganga, that is Alkananda and Mandakini, and also the Bhagirathi, they joined near Devaprayag in Uttarakhand. After Devaprayag, it is called as Ganga. So because Bhagirathi river, they have built many dams. So because of that, Bhagirathi is actually a colorless and very pure water. But Alkananda water is a still turbid, because the Himalayan range or the soil is a silty soil. So lot of silt is actually it carries while flowing. So I actually suggested to one of the ex-member secretary of the Uttarakhand, Mr. Vijay Kumar, I think, I said that, why don't you build one more dam to Alkananda, so that Alkananda river also is actually get purified because of the dam. Okay, because of the dam. When they built a dam, all the silts are going to be settled in the dam, and actually the supernated water or the clear water flows out of the dams. So that's why I think you might have seen in your WhatsApp groups, or in or you can go to, you put this one in the Google, Devaprayag. You see the color difference of the river Bhagirathi and also the river Alkananda. Alkananda river is highly turbid and Bhagirathi river is crystal clear. So this is because they have built the dam. So because they have built the dam, Ganga river, what is polluted in Yamunotri, in Gangotri, because they have built a dam, all the pollutants are actually biodegraded in the dam, and there may chances of the fish kill, because when they start biodegrading and it consumes the dissolved oxygen, when there is a shortage of dissolved oxygen, then water becomes actually unsanitized. So when there is an unsanitization, then actually there may be chances of fish kill. So that Teri Dam is very, very big dam, which is about 250 meters height actually. The height from the ground is a very big dam. So I don't think that what I have said is may not happen, because the dam is very, very big, and it takes lesser time to biodegrade all the organic matter, because more than 1 crore people are actually visiting this Chardham Yatra. Recently, my friend also is visited, and the last April I visited went to Uttarkashi. From Uttarkashi, the Gangotri and Yamunotri, they are just hardly 100 kilometer distance. So I have not visited actually, but you might have seen in the paper, because the 2 year there is a ban on visit because of the COVID. And this time there is a lot of, when I was in Haridwar, before the beginning of this Chardham Yatra, there were actually 3 lakhs people who are actually visited the Haridwar, and they take bath in the Ganga, and then they go back to Delhi and their native places. This is the irony actually. They are actually coming from all other places just to have a dip in Ganga. So in Ganga dip, you're supposed not to use the soap and anything. You have to have only a dip in water. And in some of the cases, they actually they throw their old clothes. So that is unfortunate thing. And Ganga Aarti, you might have seen the lot of flower, the lot of plastics, all those things. Again, they have throw it back into the Ganga River. And I don't know actually the downstream of the this Haridwar. I don't know whether there is a dam to the Ganga or not. Otherwise, it flows up to the Kashi. And I already explained in the beginning that plastics are non-biodegradable, and plastics are going to stay non-biodegradable more than 300 years. So ultimately, after 300 years, they become microplastic dissolved in water, so which actually creates problems. Okay, so yeah, this is the Earth actually. The Earth is about the radius is 6,371 kilometer, and the soil is very, very important because the soil contains the water and also the a fertilizer value. So this is very important for the growth of the crops as well as the forests. And these forests are very, very important because without forest, you will not get the oxygen. So oxygen is very, very important. Now 50% of the oxygen released by the photosynthesis of the land plants, that is the forest, and another 50% is released by the ocean plant, that is the aquatic plants. So if you are actually polluting the ocean, then you are actually, there is a chances of release of less oxygen. If you are making a deforestation, then also it is a problem, not only to the animals, but also to the human beings. The survival of the human beings depends upon the oxygen content or the oxygen released from the forest area and as well as the aquatic plant of the oceans and lakes and the rivers. So we have to protect the forest, we have to protect the ocean, we have to protect the lake, and we have to protect the rivers. So then only you will get the sufficient oxygen for the respirations. Okay, these are the geological times. You can see there the depends upon the stone structure, and these are the pre-Caribbean and the other one actually they have divided into two parts. So this is how the water if you go for the borewells, the borewells is actually you are making a hole through these rock stratas. So if these rock stratas containing heavy metal, then your borewells is also going to get these heavy metals in the drinking water. Actually, if you are using the borewell water for the drinking purpose, definitely this borewell water is polluted with heavy metals or some other metals or the calcium or the hardness, magnesium, like that. All these things are actually in the dissolved form. Though the water is clear, but you will not have the actually a quality of water for the drinking purpose. This is because the borewells are a problematic because it is water is flowing a certain velocity in the rock strata. If you are making a number of holes, that is number of borewell, then the water flow actually increases. The velocity in the underground water is going to increases, and during the increasing velocity, it leaches the heavy metals and all and salts and all, and which actually a problem. So we have to protect the globe or the earth because there is only one earth. We have to protect. The protection is by the human beings because human beings are actually destroying the planet, not the animals. Animals are actually protecting because a lot of biodiversities are destroyed by the human activity, not by the animal activity. So use of water wisely, use the water wisely. Why wisely? Because only 0.3% is available for the drinking purpose. This is one of the God available temple built in by our Rishi Munis. So they have made that Shiva is at the center and Brahma and the Shiva, Vishnu is after making an angle of 104.5 degree. This is what actually science also proves that the same angle is made by hydrogen and oxygen. H2O, two molecules of the hydrogen with oxygen, the angle is 104.5 degree. Okay, this is how the water is, how purity it is. The pure water looks like this. Okay, and there is a water is manufactured by the nature at 3,500 million years ago. The same water is actually gets heated because of the sun, and it is get evaporated, condensation, formation of clouds, and the precipitation or the rainfall. So this is happening from 3,500 million years ago. After that, not even a single drop of water is manufactured by the nature. The existing water is actually recycled by the nature. The same water we are every day, you are drinking the water as old as 3,500 million years old water we are drinking. Don't think that the water supply by BWHSB are the municipality, though it is a fresh water, they say it is a fresh water, but as per the science, it is actually a recycled water by the nature. 3,500 million years from billion years, the water is recycled by the nature. Okay, I already explained the industrialization. The industrialization is required because the growth of population. The before independence in 1947, the population was only 30 crores. Now the population is 140 crores. Now we need more energy for the lighting and more energy for the transportation, and also we need work for all the citizens to work for all the citizens and the salary for the citizen. For that we have to go for the industrialization. So software is also an industry actually. So we see 1784 industry 1 actually 1.0, and 1870 it is 2.0, 1969 it is 3.0. Today it is actually industry is 4.0. So industrialization is a must, otherwise we will not get our basic amenities. Even the food we will not get, because the fertilizer industry is an important. The pesticide industry is also important. Without pesticide, you are not now actually today you are growing the harvesting is not done without pesticide, without fungicide, without herbicide. All these ultimately you are actually using it on the field, and through the food grains it is coming back to the human consumption through the food grains. So slowly we are eating these pesticides, herbicide and fungicides. Okay, even the fundamental duties in our Indian Constitution, Dr. Baba Ambedkar Sahib has written 51A. What 51A says actually? What are your actually duties? It says duties. Last G in 51A G. This is Aranyagalu, that is the forest, Sarovaragalu, that is the lakes, Nadigalu, that is the rivers, Vanyajeevigalu, that is nothing but all the animals. And Naisargika Parisara is nothing but the forest. So forest, and then these lakes, rivers, and then animals and plants, everything should be have to be protected. Samrakshisuvudu, protected, and abhiruddhigolisuvudu. Not only samrakshana, not only protection, also you have to actually increase their population. That's what it says actually. So, for example, in Karnataka, there is no lion at all. So, since there is no lion, the population of the elephants are now increased. So, earlier there were 2,000 elephants, now 3,000 elephants. So, the population is not controlled by the animals, because only the lion is a mighty lion is capable of hunting these elephants. Otherwise, elephant requires the minimum 200-liter water at a time, and it consumes about 500 kg of a green grass or the plants. It goes on consuming, and in every year it travels about 800 kilometers. So all along the 800 kilometer, it actually destroys the plants, destroys the trees, destroys the coffee plantations, destroys the banana plantation, destroys the whatever you are growing actually, because the government has actually given a lot of project inside the forest area. In the Western Ghats, there are many resorts, and in Western Ghats there are many irrigation projects. They have built a small dams. So when they built a small dams, it cuts the path of the elephant. So path of the elephant, when it is actually disturbed, the elephant and other animals start visiting to the cities. So just like Anekal, or to the Mysore, or to the Kodagu district, all the elephant wild animals they visit, because we have made actually some development in the forest area is actually not that visible. So this This is what actually our even the constitution says. Samrakshisi abhiruddhi padisi is development. Mattu pranigalige anukampa torse. Anukampa is actually is again the anukampa is nothing but ahimsa, karune, daya, which is there in the Bhagavad Gita. So same amanitvam, adamitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, acharyopatanam, all these things are actually word from the Bhagavad Gita only actually. All the animals, we have to show the anukampa or the daya. Dayave dharmada moolavaya. This is what Basavana says. So we have to show them the daya. So anukampa is very, very important. It is inbuilt actually in the constitution itself. As a part, we have made it as a pollution control board, or the forest department, or lake development authority, or irrigation department. So all these things are actually part of the our Indian constitutions, which is already there. It is inbuilt. So these are the rules now actually available to protect the environment. That is what is the protection of is nothing but the sanitation, to give the development of the sanitation. 1974 Water Acts. From 1974, the Pollution Control Board is actually trying to protect the rivers and lakes. Unfortunately, there is a more pollution than 1974. So because it is actually not properly implemented, and peoples are not properly responded to the Water Act and 1981 Year Act. Then actually 2016, 89 itself, there was a hazardous waste management rule. In 1989 itself, because 1986, they have enacted the this Environmental Protection Act, which actually improves all these notifications. So hazardous waste, unfortunately, fortunately, now we have got two sites. One is at Dabaspete and another is at Kanapura Road. One more they are planning for in Yadgiri. And some of the industries are actually come forward to store their hazardous waste in their own premises in a scientific manner. That is also very good actually, because all the hazardous waste is actually very active, reactive, toxic, ecotoxic, all those things, characters are there to the hazardous waste. Before it is actually protected, the first they make hazardous into a non-hazardous by the treatment, and then it is actually buried in the underground in an impervious pond. This is what is actually a scientific method of disposal of the hazardous waste. Otherwise, hazardous waste, if you are throwing it into the nature by the illegal, by the industry, during the rainy season, it carries hazardous waste into the lakes, and the lakes will get polluted, and aquatic life is going to be polluted. And if you are eating the same aquatic life, that is the fish and the birds, water birds, then the hazardous waste is actually transferred to the human body, and the human body is actually ultimate. It is nobody is eating humans, so that's why all the poisons are actually is going to stored in the human body, which is really going to affect the human body. Okay, then the same notification is there. These are all actually sanitization only. If the biomedical is not properly treated, collected, then definitely when we are studying, that is before 2000, there was no biomedical waste rules. What they were doing actually, they were throwing into the municipal solid waste dump grounds, or municipal tottis we call it as, and all dogs are actually eating something biomedical waste in those dustbins. So all these dustbins, they were throwing all biomedical waste into the dustbins when Madam Almitra Patel put a PIL in the Supreme Court, and ultimately Supreme Court given a direction to central government to enact the biomedical waste rules, municipal solid waste rules. All these two rules are coming to picture because of Madam Almitra Patel actually. Now the biomedical waste, there is a separate rules because we don't know actually hospitals what type of patient they are going to treat, and the waste coming out of the human body is so dangerous than any other waste actually. So that has to be treated. That is also one of the Pollution Control Board condition, is that all the effluent generated and all the solid waste generated, that is the biomedical waste, especially generated in the operation theater as well as in the wards, has to be collected as per the color codes. That is red and white, green and orange. Accordingly, all the orange color or yellow color, yellow color waste is actually completely destroyed by incinerating at 1200 degrees centigrade. So this is the only way of how the biomedical waste is destroyed. most dangerous waste is destroyed by, it is called a process called incineration. And incineration is actually a scientific word. Incineration is having a double chamber. The first chamber is 850 degrees centigrade, and the second chamber is more than 1200 degrees centigrade, having the control systems and also a chimney of not less than 30 meters above the ground level. So all these things are the minimum requirement to treat the biomedical waste. Now in Karnataka, there are 27 biomedical waste treatment facilities. Bangalore, there are 4 biomedical waste treatment facilities officially declared by the pollution control boards. In Dabaspete, there are 2, and one is at Kanapura Road, another one is at Hoskote. All these are actually collecting the waste from the Bangalore, and all other where there in all district headquarters there is a one number of biomedical waste collection center: Shivamoga, Bhadravati, Davangere, and Koppal, Haveri, Dharwad, that is Hubli, Dharwad, Belgaum, Bidar, Raichur, Bellary, then Bijapur, okay, Bagalkote. Everywhere actually there is one biomedical waste disposal facilities created by the State Pollution Control Board and also the District Administration Authority. When compared to the whole India, so Karnataka is the first in disposing biomedical waste, is more scientific than any other state actually. Because in Kerala, there is only one biomedical waste which is very near to the border of Karnataka. Only one to the full state. And most of the times, these biomedical waste is illegally dumped by the Kerala hospital illegally to the Karnataka in Gundlupete or in Chamarajanagar districts. It is what we observed actually. But in Karnataka, is 100%, 100% all the biomedical waste is collected by these 27 hospitals, because before establishment of the hospital, the Pollution Control Board insists actually an agreement with the common biomedical waste treatment facilities. Then only Pollution Control Board issues the NOC to any new hospital. Even the district administration or the health and family welfare department, even for every clinic, they actually ask the NOC of the Pollution Control Board. And when the NOC is given, Pollution Control Board asks them to have a tie-up with the biomedical waste, common biomedical waste authority, and then only, even for the single clinic, a single doctor uses only 1 or 2 injections per day, they are also covered under the biomedical waste. And I am sure 95% of the biomedical waste is collected, and here and there 1 and 2 where the clinics are illegally operating, they only actually throwing it into the nature. Otherwise, all the hospitals and major hospitals, they are actually covered under the biomedical waste rules, and they have all obtained the license or the consent from the Pollution Control Board. Then municipal solid waste rules also. This is also very, very important for the sanitization. I already explained you. There are already, I already told, more than 15 biomedical solid waste disposal grounds. They are actually not disposal. It is called as a dumping actually, because the segregation is just started 2-3 years back. Before that, what they have done? Before that, they were all actually dumped in actually quarries, old quarries of the old stone quarries. And ultimately, these quarries are become a problem to the BBMP, because the leachate coming out of that one is the BOD is 9,000 milligram per liter. If it is a 9,000, there the methane gas is generated in those solid waste grounds, and this methane is one thing is a poisonous. Another thing is it has got a fuel value. Whenever there is a fire accident, the main cause to aggravate the fire is this methane gas. So this is a common. The persons who are residing around the old quarry, which they have dumped the municipal solid waste, definitely it is a problem for the persons around these areas. So recently, 2016, they have also done a construction and demolition waste management rules. The Pollution Control Board to maintain the sanitation and illegal dumping of the solid waste, the constructional waste. They have given a license to one of the unit in New Airport Road. Actually, they are processing about 1,000 ton per day. They say actually even 1,000 ton per year is not, they are not getting. because it is already calculated per square feet what is the solid waste or the construction and demolition waste is generated. So including, you see actually this metro, what metro construction and all, after that the concrete blocks are, you can see actually nearby the roadside or near the drainage side. That is supposed to, that is to be handed over to the this construction and demolition waste management system actually. The unfortunately those big where is a 13 crores project, 13 crore rupees project, their persons are actually not properly handling this demolition waste. Then to whom you have to blame? I don't understand actually. Even the plastic rules, the major rules actually creating the problem. So I will show the how much problem is created by the plastic in future. This one, plastic waste, electronic waste. Electronic waste contains all heavy metals actually. Even your electric cars nowadays containing all these electronic waste, because it is automatic control. Now the control by the computers are available in the market now, and most of them are actually with electronic equipment in the car or the bus or the lorry. So all these, when it is actually dismantled, or these are all actually released to the environment. Then manufacturing storage of the hazardous chemicals are also important, because even our tablets, when their date is expired, then it becomes either it becomes a biomedical waste or it is categorized as hazardous waste. So hazardous waste and biomedical waste. The hospital where the date expiry medicines are collected in the biomedical waste, that is in the hospital, that should be handed over to the biomedical waste centers. And in the manufacturing unit, they have to tie up with the incineration or with the TSTF, which is in Dabaspet. So then noise rule nowadays, the Supreme Court has given an order, the prayer decibel should not be exceeding like this. In the residential area, the noise level should not exceed the 55 decibels. So in the daytime, and 45 decibel during the night time. But unfortunately, there are 10 noise monitoring stations in Bangalore installed by the Pollution Control Board. If you open a website, you can see that everywhere it is actually exceeding more than 75 decibels. All the areas, the 75 decibels only in the industrial area, that like just like Dabaspete industrial area, or Pinya industrial area, or Kumbalgod industrial area, or Electronic City, Bammalli industrial area. It should be up to 75 decibel during the daytime and 75 decibels during the night time. Unfortunately, all in Bangalore, it is not less than 75 decibels during the daytimes. Even the silent zone, which says the less than 45 decibels, example, the hospital area, office area, court area, nearby, that is Kalasipalya. Kalasipalya is a highly busiest center, and the noise level is always more than 75 decibels. So this is what it is. And battery rules is also is actually very important, because it is a lead acid batteries. Now the batteries car are actually now coming, the battery operated cars are coming up, electric operated cars are coming up. There is every chances of the consumption of the more lead acid batteries or lithium batteries. All those things are coming into the market. We don't know really when they are discarded, then how to dispose or how to recover, that we have to check actually. So pollution means what? Sanitization, I already explained actually. Everything you cannot simply say pollution and all, because it gives a definition is given in the Water Act. Water Act says such contamination, physical, chemical, biological, the alteration of the chemical, physical, and biological properties of water. Okay, yeah, the water, the biological property, if it is changed, biological, chemical, and chemically, biological, and physical, or if it's joining up the sewage, or joining up the trade effluent, or joining of the gases, or joining of liquids, solids into that water, which is injurious to the public health, safety, or domestic, or commercial, or industrial, or agriculture, and other legitimate use. If it is not fit to use for domestic purpose, commercial purpose, industrial purpose, agricultural purpose, or other legitimate uses, or it is a threat to the life or the health of the animals, or to the plants, or to the aquatic organism. Aquatic organisms is nothing but microorganisms. All these are actually, if the water is affecting the life of the health and the life of the animals, plant and aquatic organism, including the human being. And if the water is unfit for domestic purpose, commercial purpose, industrial purpose, agricultural purpose, or the legitimate uses, then it is called pollution. So simply you cannot say that water is polluted. So if you are giving a complaint to the Pollution Control Board saying that the water is polluted, then the Pollution Control Authority, they collect that water and they test the parameters. The BOD test, I already explained, the BOD of the drinking water should be 0. And the BOD of the river water should not exceed 3 milligram per liter. And during the rainy season, it goes up to 6 milligram per liter. If any water is having the BOD more than 6 milligram per liter, then the water is not fit for domestic purpose or commercial purpose until unless it is treated. So in one of the book also says, in the world, water what is available, no water is fit for drinking until unless you have to treat it. At least minimum, you have to do the disinfection. That is the chlorination you have to do and destroy, at least destroy the microorganisms which are pathogenic bacteria. At least minimum thing you have to do. So no water is fit directly consumption. This is one of the books says. You cannot say that this water is not good, that water is not good. I am saying all the water is not good until unless you treat it. Minimum treatment is the disinfection. This is what the definition says. Any question in between? Our dear participants, you have any doubts?
Students, overall, just show your hand. I think we can unmute you. We'll have an interaction with the speaker. Abhilash. Yeah. Sanath, just check Abhilash.
Yes, sir.
Abhilash is from, I think, Bijapur. I hope.
Yeah.
No, sir. Bagalkot, sir.
No, sorry. Okay, please go ahead. Abhilash.
Yeah, Abhilash, tell me. Any doubts of Bagalkote? Bagalkote, there is less water. Huh? There are 5 rivers in Bagalkote, I think. Narayanpur Dam is actually backwater is in Bagalkote.
Sanath, unmute ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು. Sanath.
Kumaraswamy, sir. Unmute yourself, sir. Please.
Yeah, unmute. Okay. Any question from the participants? Because I think you are all engineers working in the under the DC, I think, no?
Kumaraswamy, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actually, there is one more code book has released, no? Solid Waste Management Rules in 2021 or 20. I don't know.
Solid
exactly.
waste, not
Recent.
solid actually. It is the guidelines for the biomedical waste.
Oh, not
Solid
before.
waste is 2016.
Okay.
Is the main act, and subsequent are only the guidelines.
But still, nobody is following any rules, sir.
Yes, you are 100% sure.
And
Nobody
we
is
have to
following.
conduct a lot of awareness programs for the all engineering students.
Already 20 years, 22 years is over. How many years we want to correct, actually conduct
I
the
think
awareness.
Abhilash is now. Abhilash, you have any questions?
No, sir.
You can ask any questions, sir. You are audible.
All 26% are, you have to ask at least 26 questions. Yes, some doubts should be there to you, na? Because more than 1 hour I actually explained you about the sanitation, hazardous waste, biomedical waste, underground pipelines, and also sanitation, sewage treatment.
Any questions from participants? CMTI trainee students. Some of the students joined CMTI trainees, sir, actually.
Oh, great, great. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ashok, I welcome you for this seminar. I think muted. So what is the solution? Now Bangalore is facing a lot of drainage problem. How the authority is going to fix the stormwater drains because nobody is following the quantity of water generated, but is extreme rainfall. I too agree. Unexpected rainfalls makes totally mess in Bangalore. Even though the actually, if we design the storm drains according to the calculation of this stormwater, I think something is missing in the calculation.
Here actually there is one more they have given actually the rainwater harvesting. So once you gone for rainwater harvesting, is actually up to 30% of the water will not flow in the drainage at all. It is going to be underground. So underground recharge is going to be started actually. Okay. And these all the drainages actually carrying the silt. So the carrying capacity of the drainage is actually reduced. Okay. So because of that, we are actually facing problem. And in some of the cases, it is actually choked because of the plastics. And you know, I already said the plastic is non-biodegradable. It actually arrests the water and it obstructs the flow. And the flow starts actually overflowing the drainages and joining to the actually low-lying areas. Okay. And unfortunately, most of the lakes are actually filled up and they made it into either a mall or a bus stand or apartment or the layouts. So that's why now in the layouts or the apartment, they put the word lake view apartments. So rainy season, definitely there is a lake because the cellar is actually, the lake is actually encroached by the developers. Okay. So either encroached or illegally purchased. And as per the Supreme Court direction, no lake actually bed can be used for the construction of the any structure. It is any structure actually. So all the lakes, which are 250 lakes in Bangalore, now is actually reduced to only 25. So that indicates more than 225 lakes are actually destroyed by construction of the either the roads or the apartment or the layouts. So because of this actually, even some of the drainages are actually encroached. So the natural drainages, when it is encroached, definitely it is the water is going to be inundated on those all low-lying areas. And they simply complain to the government actually. So I have seen actually a private layout. They have shown very beautifully in their drawings, the drainages and all they have shown, and 30 feet roads they have shown, and very big drainage they have made. But when during construction time, they made it to 50%. So 40 feet road, it becomes a 30 feet road. And the drainages become very narrow. And the main drainages becomes also, that is also encroached. And all the CIA sites, the commercial sites, they made it into a residential area where they use it for the essential purpose. All those things are actually encroached. Even if you visit the Pune industrial area, all the footpaths are also encroached. So this is the duty of the industrial authority area actually to stop them by encroaching. But unfortunately, it is not so. So KSS, IDCR, KIDB, they have to take actually all these things, and industries actually they are paying the taxes regularly. Otherwise, they are going to collect. When they collect the taxes, then it is their duty to to clean the drainages at regular intervals. Every year before monsoon, that 3 months, their duty is to clean the drainages. They are not cleaning. Because of that, there is always a overflow. You cannot blame the public also. Because
the only solution, what I conclude from your answer is regulating authorities have to take steps.
You're right. Regulation
stringent actions they have to take. That is missing.
Yes.
Regulating authorities, they are not doing their job. Therefore, we are messed up with our problems.
They are not doing job up to their mark.
Yeah. Thank you.
They are doing job, but not to the up to the mark.
Okay.
Because it's not up to the mark, there is always a problem in Bangalore because the population is very, very high. So because of that, even in Davangere also, you might have seen in Ranabennur, actually one of the lake is overflowed. So that lake water is flowing in the city, inside the city area. So these are all because of they have not put the proper drainage for the overflow. So they think that from past 20 years there is no overflow. That's why they will actually give a permission to construct.
In developed countries, the wetland management is a new concept of designing things. Wetland management concept.
Yes, sir. Yes.
It will take rainwater, overland flow in a proper direction, and finally reach the lakes. But that is also missing a concept of wetland management. Thank you, sir. Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah. If no questions, I will go ahead. Okay. Yeah, water pollution. It says explain what is that and what is the harmfulness of the sewage. What the sewage contains actually. So why we have to treat the sewage? The humans, though they are eating the pizza and burger, but their waste is not so good actually. So it contains excellent media for growth of bacteria, the virus, the protozoa, which causes cholera, typhoid, dysentery. After treatment, the water has to be disinfected. This is where it is actually missing. Even after treatment, the treatment is also not proper, as I already told. That has to be disinfected. The disinfection required a lot of chlorine actually. And lot of chlorine is actually, they have to use it to kill all the bacteria or microorganisms. So I have not seen actually a disinfection facility in the sewage water treatment areas. Then there is a ovas are there, larvas are there, and many worms, parasitics are present. And then human urine and feces of the man makes water unfit. Even 1 liter of human waste can pollute 1,000 liters. That is 1 meter cube of water is polluted with 1 liter of human waste. That is also a very, very problem. Then it also contains protozoa, bacteria, virus, and may grow in sewage in anaerobic conditions. Some of the virus and bacteria, they also grow in the anaerobic condition, means at the bottom of the lake bed or at the bottom of the river bed or at the bottom of the Rishbhavati Valley or the Belandur Valley, there is a anaerobic digestion is there, and a lot of bacteria causes which hepatitis B and polio, cholera, dysentery, amoebic dysentery. All these bacteria grow in the human sewage. That's why the human sewage has to be treated in the sewage treatment plant. That is the condition of the Pollution Control Board, not to the industries only, not to the public only. It is also the all the local bodies. All the local bodies has to take a permission from Pollution Control Board for scientific disposal of the liquid waste, solid waste, biomedical waste, and other things. So this is the conditions are actually put by the State Pollution Control Board. Unfortunately, it is not followed. That is the problem actually. So unfortunately not followed. Even the environment, I already explained you go for the rainwater harvesting. So rainwater harvesting other than Bangalore is better actually. In the industrial area and all, it is really problematic because whatever the emissions, it is actually passed through the chimney and it is going to be accumulated in the environment. And during the rainy season or during the night, it is actually fall back to the ground. So you see actually 500 megawatt thermal power. If it is a coal, 500 megawatt, it requires minimum 350 metric ton of coal per hour. Every hour it burns 350 metric tons. So that's why in the beginning I told the highest air pollution in the world is by the thermal powers. So it releases carbon monoxide. Okay, it releases nitrous oxides, releases sulfur dioxides, it releases particulate matter, releases aldehydes, and releases hydrocarbons. So natural gas not releases the carbon monoxide and also the hydrocarbon. Other than that, natural gas is also polluting. It releases nitrous oxides, sulfur dioxides, particulate matter, and aldehydes. And they are all actually a problem when they are exposed 8 hours for 30 ppm parts per million and longer for 1 hour. There is an actually inactivation of the hemoglobin without showing that it actually without showing the discomfort, etc. It start discomfort when there is a shortage of oxygen to the hemoglobin by the carbon monoxides. Then nitrogen oxides, it takes up to 7 to 8 hours. If you are exposed, then there is a imbalance in the health. Like that, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen oxide, both are actually gases which dissolves in the humidity. They become nitric acid and sulfuric acid. So, and there is every chances of acid rains. If you are actually going for in the industrial area, if you are planning for the rainwater harvesting, definitely the pH is actually less than 5. When the pH of the water is less than 5, then it is actually an acidic water. So, and aldehydes are very, very dangerous because it is a cancer causing aldehydes. Aldehydes are actually generated from the coal thermal power, that is the oil thermal power, and also the natural gas thermal power. In all the three cases, it actually releases the harmful effect on the environment and also the human health. So this is what it says actually 1992, 2020. Of these 20 years, 40 years, the pollution load increased on the environment more than 4 to 5 times, including Singapore and Japan. The Singapore in 1990, it was only 191 tons per annum sulfur dioxide. Now it is 1033 tons. That is around 200 tons become 1033 tons. So China, 21,000 metric ton, that is 22,000 metric ton. Now it is 80,000, 60,000 metric ton. Even in India, it was about 4.5 metric ton, 4.5 thousand metric ton. Now it is 18,000 metric ton. So every country is actually in progress in actually in industrialization. If you are progress in industrialization, because you have to give a job to the youths, and if you want to give a job, then you have to industrialize. When you are industrializing, a lot of gases is emitted. Though the pollution control board says that you should put a control equipment, so they have to put a control equipment to control the sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxides and all. But unfortunately, it is not controlled, and it is not controlled now. And nowadays, actually, the monitoring is done by the sensors. So online monitoring is done actually. So when I was working, about 250 industries are connected to their chimney to the online. Now it might have gone up to 500. But by sitting in the chamber itself, now we can find out what is the emission levels. So if it is correctly monitored, definitely the pollution control board can take action to the industries which are emitting more than what is the tolerance limits. So sulfur dioxide, I already told, it is mixed with the water and becomes sulfuric acids. So this is what is actually pollution in the city area. A lot of traffic. The 40% of the air pollution in Bangalore is because of the traffic jam and the vehicles. And this is the situation. The police person or any persons who are there in the Delhi and in Bangalore, they are actually working in this polluted environment. And whenever there is a rainfall, all these gases, dissolved gases, particulate matter actually fall back to the ground and it flows in the drainages. So already it is a polluted. Again, it is polluted because of the environment, and the water is really a problem. So this is the Delhi. So 3 months actually during the winter, it is like this only. So completely smoky, and visibility is very, very less. Many times the aeroplanes are actually diverted because of the visibility problems. Okay, I already told sulfur dioxide mixed with water becomes sulfuric acid. Nitrous oxide mixed with water becomes nitric acid. Nitric acid and sulfuric acid are the dangerous acids, and the water becomes acidic. And whenever it falls on the ground or on the forest area, it destroys the vegetation. If it is falls on the lake, it destroys the lake vegetation and also the aquatic life. So this is one of the case actually. You might have read in the paper the Sweden and Finland, all those areas, that is Scandinavian Peninsula. The most of the lakes, the pH is 4, and there is no aquatic life. This is because of the air pollution done by the America. So American industries air pollution is actually destroyed the lake vegetation in Scandinavian peninsula, that is Sweden, Norway, and Denmark, and also the Finland. All these things are actually in problem. So this is how the lake completely polluted, destroyed because of the acid rains in the forest area. So even the forest fire actually bring back the lot of dust into the environment and lot of sulfur dioxides and nitrous oxides and carbon monoxide during the forest fire. That's why the forest fire has to be protected by the forest department and also by the public. They should see that they should not misfire the areas. Okay, the firing they are done in the whenever the visitors or the traveler they throw their cigarette or bidi, the bits, or intentionally they fire to the dry gases, dry grasses. Then this is the situation. So in the meantime, for the construction, for the housing and all, they use the wood, the wooden doors, wooden windows, and lot of wood is actually used. And that wood is actually they obtained from the forest area, and lot of forest is destroyed. It says actually 46% of the forest is destroyed during 8,000 years, but 40% is destroyed just in 20 years. This you call it as an industrialization or the growth of the population and the need of the houses. The better all the housing apartments, better they go for the metallic windows and metallic doors instead of the wooden doors. If they go on using the wooden door, then they have to cut the forest. Already I explained 40% of the forest is destroyed in just 20 years, whereas 46% is destroyed in 8,000 years. When the civilization is actually increased, the civilization mind is increased, the lot of problems is actually created by the human ambitions. The ambitions, we have a good wood, teak wood, rosewood, sandalwood, like that. They cut the forest and they sell it in the market, and the market is also high demand. So when there is a high demand, the rates are very high. That is what is called inflation. So this is what is actually we are destroying the forest. I already said actually only 0.3% is lake and river water is available for drinking, agricultural, and industrial purpose. And 97.5% is the salt water. We can use it for navigation and fishing. The fresh water, 2.5%. Out of 2.5%, glaciers, that is North and South Pole. Groundwater, that is underground water, borewell water. And 0.3 is the lake water and river water. These all 0.3% we actually in India, 80% is actually destroyed by the human beings because of the misuse and also the discharge of the human sewage into the water. This is what is actually we are doing. Okay, this is the North and South Pole ice caps. It is actually 2.8%. So this is also now melting. This is because of the industrialization and global warming. So there is some question, I think. What is that? Okay, I will check the question. I will answer this.
Sir, what are the schemes taken by the government for controlling the air pollution and noise pollution?
Yeah. This is what actually Mr. Srinivas Kulkarni, sir, director is asking. Yeah, the controlling of the air pollution. Now, I already told you, all the industries, when they give the permission or the NOC or the consent for operation, they will ask them to put up the control equipment. There are many control equipment. There is the wet scrubber. 1 minute. Sir, one seminar is Martini, sir. Amela. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Then air pollution, when they put up the air pollution control equipment, definitely the particulate matter, sulfur dioxide and nitric oxides are going to be reduced. So you can reduce it. That's why it is called pollution control board. You cannot say you can eradicate. You cannot eradicate. So it may be controlled. So after controlling, it is actually you can bring down to the standards. That's all. It brings down to the pollution control board standards. You really cannot completely eradicate. Not possible. Yeah. The one more question. How does the polluted water responsible for disturb by ecological balance? Yeah, polluted water.
It's affects on ecological balance.
Yes, sir. Ecological balance. Yeah, polluted water, ecological balance is really correct. Actually, you see, when you are actually disposing your effluent or the human sewage into a lake, the lake ecology is completely destroyed. You will not find any fish there. In Bellandur, there is no aquatic life. There is no fish. There is no tortoise. No birds comes actually feed on that water because there is no life at all. There is only an anaerobic digestion. When there is an anaerobic digestion, there is a generation of the hydrogen sulfate gas, which is a bad smell, methane gas, which is again a bad smell, and the bottom is always with anaerobic condition with having a silt, and this silt is anaerobically digested by the anaerobic bacteria. So during the night season, there is always a bad smell around the Bellandur, not only Bellandur lake, every lake is actually in greenish color. So all the lakes are anaerobically digested. And if you are using the sewage directly to any river, the river ecology is going to be destroyed. There is a Rishabhavati river, which starts from Gali Anjaneya temple. Now the Rishabhavati valley, there was the fish life. And our Mysore Maharaja is going to take a bath or wash his hands and legs before entering into the Gali Anjaneya temple. Now it is completely destroyed. There is no clarity in water. You cannot see the ground of the water there actually. So that indicates it is completely turbid and completely polluted either with the human sewage or with the industrial water. So and now it is not even really fit for touch. So you cannot touch that water. Up to the Sangama and up to the 100 kilometer, 150 kilometer, all the river ecology is destroyed. And when the river ecology is destroyed, when the river is polluted, when the river joins the ocean in the estuary, all the estuary aquatic life, including the salmon, fish, and then some other vegetation plantation in the ocean, in the estuaries, they are going to destroy it. When the salmon fish are feel that the water is polluted and the ecology is not in a good condition, all these salmon fish is actually going to migrate to the other areas. So you are going to lose the salmon fish, which is the costly fish in the world. So important fish, which are some of the fish, they lay their egg in the actually in the sweet water. So they enter into the estuaries, for example, in Kadra. So because they have built a dam at Kadra, the water joining to the ocean is actually now minimum. The fishes which are actually laying eggs in the fresh water, now their species in danger. Now they have to go to the other estuaries where they are getting a sufficient water. So because of the polluted water, the lake ecology is going to be destroyed, the river ecology is going to be destroyed, and some part of the ecology of the estuaries of the ocean is going to be destroyed. So a part of the ecology of the ocean is destroyed, not the whole ecology of the ocean. A part is going to be destroyed, especially the coastal area, where the coastal area's ecology is very, very important because of shallow water. There is a lot of fish activities take place in shallow water than the deep water. So that's why when the shallow water ecology is destroyed, the fish life is going to be destroyed, and the fish are going to be migrated to the other areas. So the fishermen get a shortage of fish, and their livelihood is going to be affected. So this is how actually polluted water, even polluted, when the river is polluted, then you require the more investment to treat the water and to disinfect it to supply to the public. So that is also a economical loss. So when the river is polluted, as the pollution control board, if you observe the website of the pollution control board, at the 17 part of the river is actually polluted because of the sewage. Shimoga is polluted, Bhadravati is polluted, then Kudligi is polluted, and then Srirangpatna polluted, Mandya polluted, and then Sangama in Kanakpura near is polluted, then Bhima river is polluted, Malaprabha, Ghataprabha polluted, and also the Tungabhadra river is polluted. All these polluted at 17 points, all these lakes are polluted, and that water is unfit for drinking and not fit for the domestic purpose. The pollution control board, they have submitted an estimation of four years back 4 years back, 1,500 crores. It is not implemented. Every year, actually, the rates are escalated. Now it is 4 years. It may be now double. Maybe a 3,000 crores is required to regenerate these polluted stretches of the rivers. So this is how actually the human activities, the polluted water is going to destroy the ecology, because some of the water birds and some of the water plant, they're very, very sensitive. When the pH changes, when the BOD changes, when the toxicity changes, they die, or they are actually, they vanish from that places. So this is a loss, ecological loss. You may not find such type of plant, such type of fish, such type of microorganisms in those areas. So this is the loss. Okay. Mr. Harish. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Then, so what was the scheme taken by the government for controlling the air pollution? Oh yeah, actually I explained in the beginning itself. Air pollution, lot of action they have taken by the pollution control board. Every air polluting industry is actually screened in the screening committee, and they have to submit their what are the steps they are going to take or propose to take to control the water pollution, air pollution, solid waste pollution, hazardous waste pollution. All the things they have to given it in their project report. So after verifying, the technical advisory committee actually then only it gives the permission to install or install any industries. So only thing is that has to be monitored by the pollution control board, that whether they are implementing all the conditions or not. So if it is completely implemented by the industries, 100% there is no pollution takes place. This is how actually I can say. Shyam, Mr. Harish. Okay. No other questions, I think.
Another 10 minutes, sir.
Yeah, another 10 minutes. Any questions you?
6 o'clock, another 10 minutes, sir. And I think there is no questions, I think, sir.
There is no questions. Okay,
Yeah.
another 10 minutes. This is how the borewells, it goes more than 1,000 feet below. I already told it contains the rock strata. Is rock strata containing many pollutants? For example, 0.3% surface water. This is the Amazon water. Amazon river is the biggest in the world. Okay, yeah. So any disturbances to this forest is really disturbance to the oxygen levels in the whole globe. So Amazon forest is very important. No water means no life, because human body contains 70% water. If there is no drinking water, definitely there is no life. So we have to catch every rainwater, provided rainwater should not be polluted because of the industrial area. So if you are not going to plan a proper drainage system, proper planning by the planning authority, and there may be a landslide, there may be an inundation, low laying area filled up, and it is the water obstructions. So most of the underpasses in Bangalore is filled with water. I don't know what type of planning they do, because when they make a underpass, the proper drainage is very essentially. This is a very, very common sense. So 100% water has to be go out means 100% they have to maintain those drainages. If there is a natural drainage, okay, otherwise you have to pump it to the natural drains. So at least this much of common sense they have to use by the authorities. So rainwater harvesting in the village side is very, very good, because there is a less pollution. The water you have to put it into the underground, and through the underground it is dispersed. And if there is a nearby borewell, for example, my house is rainwater harvesting system is very near to the borewell. Now I am getting the 365 days water in the borewell, because all the water is actually absorbed and entering to the underground. And I think that it is charging my borewell, or it may charge the other borewell. So if this rainwater harvesting is done by all the more than 1 crore houses, what is there in the more than including 30-40 sites, then definitely you can avoid the flooding of the roads or drainages in Bangalore. So here he has used the filter, because even the terrace water contains some pollutants, just like birds falling and all. leaves, bird falling, dust. It is passed through the filter, and here this person directly taking into the underground borewell. But you should not use the borewell water of this charging borewell. You have to take the water from the other borewells, because as a safety, no doubt you are filtering and all, but we don't know, there may be a dissolved organic matter, and dissolved organic matter always attached by the bacteria. So because of that, better when you are charging one borewell, you should not extract water for drinking purpose, but you can extract for the other than domestic purpose. All plant gardening and all, you can use it, cooling purpose and all. So otherwise you create, if it is a private layout, then you create a lake at the lowest point. So this lake water is also going to actually increase the underground water. So otherwise, this is the situation in African countries. No government works, no private agencies work. There is always a terrorist problem. There is always a disturbances to the public by the terrorist groups or army groups. So they are really facing, you see, the water, dirty water, they have to carry, they have to filter, they have to boil the water, and they have to use it. This is okay actually. Another 1 month it is going to dry because of the high sun rays in the African countries. Then after 1 month or 2 months, what they are going to get? They will not get water at all actually. This is you should be happy that the Indian government at least provided the drinking water or the borewells, and they maintain they have controlled the terrorist activities, killing activities and all. So there is a development in the country, in India. So we have to thanks to the government, because they have provided at least the drinking water, which is a basic need for the public. Otherwise, like this, in when I was a child in early days, in Shumaga, they are supplying water by pipeline. This is by tankers. Here also in Bangalore, sometimes they supply by tankers. There are also in some of the industries and some of the apartments, they purchase the water from the tankers. But the only thing is that at least once in a year, they have to check the water quality. Otherwise, once 5 years, if you are consuming continuously the tanker water, if any heavy metals or any pollutants is observed by the body when it is entering into the bloodstream, and there is no technology to remove these pollutants from your blood. So that is a problem. That's why all the apartment owners, the engineers should at least advise them to test for the once in a year, at least test for minimum 20 parameters. So 32 parameters are important. At least let them check for 20 parameters. 1 year, another 20 parameters to the next year, like that. They should make a cycle of it, so that they should know that they are drinking a good water. So this is how actually, if you are throwing the plastic, it actually ultimately end either in the lake or in the river or in the ocean. So one of the reports says 600 million Indians, 600 million Indians. So 1 million is 10 lakh. So 600 million is actually persons are going to be of high extreme stress over the drinking water. It says actually water itself, not about the drinking. For any other purpose also, water is not available if you are actually go on polluting the water like this. So you have to protect the borewell, you have to protect the water tanks, you have to see that the borewells are away from the residential areas, and residential water effluent should not pass through that one. It has to pass through the septic tank, dispersant trenches, and it should not join to the underground drainage system, underground water system, because the borewells are actually getting water from the same strata. So this is what is the individual houses, very simple septic tank soak pit. IS 2470 part 1 and part 2, if you observe, they give for 100% what is the capacity of septic tank and soak pit. If you are created, this is possible only in the village and township, not in Bangalore, because there is no place for construction of the septic tank and soak pit. Nowadays, the ready-made septic tank soak pits are available. You only simply, you have to dig it, and you have to bury it, this one, and give the connection of the toilet. The effluent is actually treated in this just like a syntax tanks. So this is what is the today's actually, and 23 is today. So this is the Char Dham Yatra. Okay, all the Char Dhams are like this only, because in 3 months or in 6 months, more than 1,000 crore visitors, pilgrims, they visit and they eat and they throw it. And whenever there is a rain, and it actually washed away in the heavy rains, because Himalayan rain, there are heavy rains and sometimes landslide. It is all carried away and it is going to join into the, if it is a Gangotri, then it is going to the Bhagirathi river. All the things are going to reach the Bhagirathi river, and Bhagirathi river, they have built number of dams. The main dam is in Teri Dam. All this solid waste is biodegraded. If it is organic, if it is a plastic, it is not going to be biodegraded, and it is actually floating on the water. So, and it becomes microplastic, and the fish is going to consume these microplastic, and fish is consumed by the human beings, and the plastic is transferred from fish to human beings. Okay, the 1 kg per day is the solid waste generation by the tourist. So around 1 crore people are actually visiting. So about 10,000 tons of solid waste is generated in Chardham, each Chardham. Okay, all the 4 Chardhams. Then the plastic waste is actually more than 10% here. Then requirement of water is 13,50,000 meter cube of sewage is generated. I don't know where they are actually throwing the sewage, because 135 liter per day capita is a must for any person. So all the effluent and the solid waste in Chardham are in the very beginning of the river. They are actually polluting. Even the truckers, even the mountaineers, everybody carries all these plastic bags and throw it into the Himalayan region, and all this plastic is flows along with the glaciers, flows along with the water, and entering into the rivers and entering into the dams, ultimately coming and accumulated in the human systems. So before entering, the government should make a policy that they have to collect a green tax. They have to collect a green tax, and they have to provide the NGOs who work here, and so that they can collect and they can recycle the plastic, and the organic matter, they can convert it into a compost. At least government, because single person minimum they have to pay 50,000 rupees. Now then let them pay another 1,000 rupees. So that 1,000 rupees, they use it for the collection of this solid waste. And some of the batches, they are traveling by the helicopter only up to Dehradun aeroplane, and from Dehradun they lifted through the helicopter. It cost 180 and 1,80,000 rupees they pay for this one. Let them pay another 10,000 rupees for the maintenance of these Chardhams. So like that, they can collect the green tax, and they can make Chardham as in heaven. Actually, now it is a hell, because all the solid waste they are going to dispose it, especially these plastic bottles, plastic covers, Tetra packs, all those things are actually they are throwing in the very starting point of the river. Up to Calcutta, it flows 2,500 kilometers, the Ganga and Yamuna. So up to Calcutta, it is polluted with the plastic and other things. And the persons who are actually using the Ganga river as a drinking water, definitely they are going, the health is going to be actually disturbed. That is what to say actually. Some questions. Okay, feedback. Okay. Yeah, I think only feedbacks are there. You can, you can give the feedbacks. Yeah, there are 3
completed, sir.
140.
Any questions from the participants?
Yes. Any participants can ask any questions. Okay, that's what.
Hello. So you are given a lot of inputs and a lot of information. What is the past, present, and future? And I know that you are an authority and expert in the area of water and wastewater. And I think all the engineers has to take care of what are the, because related.
Sir, unmute, sir.
Unmute.
Hello, I'm audible?
Yes. No, sir. Now it is audible.
Yeah, I request all the engineers to take input with respect to the topic of the training, construction management. And construction management also, we have to design the structures, how it will be, it has to perform, how it should be free from flooding, how to create a resource for water, how to dispose wastewater, how to recycle, reuse of water. So you know that water is a very scarce commodity. Future, we are all going to face a very tough challenge for the development of water, because nobody is involving in surface development of water. Everybody is exploiting only groundwater. Finally, there is a repercussions on the water crisis. because already I think sir will agree. So within another 2-3 decades, there is a war for water, because
Yes, sir,
it may be interstate or it may be continental. Therefore, I request all the engineers to take the good inputs from this, and also I'll thank Engineer Kumar Swamy sir for
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
accepting our invitation and spending your valuable time and sharing a lot of information to all the participants. Always you are with us and is our well-wisher, and whenever I request he is coming. And also just for the information of a new participant joined CMTE, sir already given 1,000+ seminars and webinars. So always he is busy with his sharing of information, and he has published a lot of books with respect to environment. Very conscious person and much worried about the environment, all these things. Thank you once again, sir, for your
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
and also I thank our director Srinivas Rao sir for
Thank you, sir. Srinivas sir.
Thank you, sir.
for
Kumar
sparing
Swamy,
your
sir.
valuable
Thank you.
time.
Thanks a lot.
And also Ramesh Kumar sir and all other.
Ramesh Kumar, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you,
also
sir.
Sanat Kumar, last but not the least.
Sanat, yes.
Yeah, because of you only.
Thank you,
these
sir.
online programs we have found last year also he has supported 42 webinars, and when we requested, he accepted voluntarily without hesitation. I'll thank Sanat Kumar and his HOD and principal for supporting all these activities. And also I request our participants, please share the login IDs to your colleagues. So you are one of the participants from one district. Therefore, you must. So you are the only participant. If you share to your colleagues, project directors, all well-wishers who are all involving construction industry activities, please share, and they can take the advantage of online this one. And also I request Sanat Kumar, you can share to NCT students also 20+ at least good students who are all doing projects on construction management. And thank you once again to all of you, sir. And I request all the participants to give your feedback for the attendance purpose and also just for improving online seminars. Thank you once again to all of you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, we will close the session, and thank you once again to all of you.
Feedback is posted already.
Yeah, just wait, Sanat, don't log out because they can fill the forms. I request all the participants to fill the feedback forms and then log out. Just will wait for a few minutes.